Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for supporting our channel. Asanteni sana. On 9th August, Kenyans are going to vote in their 5th president. That is barely 3 months away from us. We have a two-horse race between Raila Odinga and William Samoei Ruto. So in this video, I want us to look at something very critical, how the Statehouse race is playing, and what I will say is the state of the race. So far, the latest opinion poll that was done by Radio Africa was showing that Raila was again trailing Deputy President in popularity. Remember, this was the opinion poll that was done in April, but in March, Raila was touted to be ahead of Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. Now, just put that there. If you look at the political scenarios, the dynamics of 2022 are a little bit different, but you can trace them back from the 2017. And I want to ask you a very simple question. During the 30th January mock swearing in of Raila Odinga, Miguna was telling Raila to marshal that whole group that was in Uhuru Park to Statehouse. And that was what was planned between Miguna, and they were in that same opinion by the Jimmy Wanjigi. But James Orengo, Professor Nyang' Nyong'o, and Mama Ida were insisting that Raila Odinga should not make that political blunder. And there are some people that I was just having some peer analysis, some of my few friends, that ask the question, do you think if Raila would have played opposition politics between 2017 to 2022, his chances of clinching that seat would be high? Now, let's just try to look at that a bit, because that is going to help us to understand the state of the race. If Raila wouldn't have had the handshake with President Uhuru would have stuck with Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. But there is a Charles Keter was saying that whichever, irrespective of the handshake, Uhuru and William Ruto could not work together in 2022. So the divorce was deemed to happen. So if Raila was in opposition, let's just assume the handshake was not there, and the fallout between Ruto and Uhuru happens, where do you think Uhuru will be? Or whom do you think Uhuru will be supporting? Most likely, that Oka team, what would have happened is that the NASA would have split, because Kalonzo would be insisting to be the presidential candidate in 2022. So the president will be maybe supporting Kalonzo, and now with the presence of Mudavadi, and Raila would be working with William Ruto. But so, if it will be so, do you think Raila will still be the presidential candidate? Maybe yes. But do you think he will still stand the chance to win? I want to categorically say that was a no. When it comes to the presidency, it's not enough about the votes, but it's also on how you will get the votes. I want to help us understand how you are going to get the votes. Not just about having votes. You can have people have voters' cards in their pockets, and for you to win is to make sure that that voter's card is converted to a vote, and that is a process. That is where President Uhuru Kenyatta comes in. And I want us just to understand. And in this video, let's look at how Uhuru and Raila has stopped Ruto's Statehouse dream. because we've mentioned that if they will be together, if Uhuru will be with if Raila will be with Ruto, I can surely tell you, I don't know whether it will be UDA ODM, but again, most likely the leaders that are around William Ruto from Central Kenya will be the president. That is how the dynamics are very interesting. That will be a very interesting scenario. So let's look at this, and I want to just look at some 5 aspects that are playing out, some 5 dynamics in the 2022 race that help us understand the state of the race. One, let's get it very clear that the registered voters are almost 22 million. With the clean register, it's around 220 million. Then with the turnout, probably 16 million people are going to vote. So someone to win, someone needs between 9 to 10 million. Or let's say 8. And 8, 7 will even push a rerun because there are also other candidates. But that is it. Kindly, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this video and you have not yet subscribed, I want to humbly request you to subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and also like our video. Insist liking because that helps to increase the ratings of our video. And are you staying within Nairobi or rather Kitengela, Lavington, Runda, and all these places where you experience blackouts? And by the way, it's very hectic now that the rains are impounding. Now that the rains are pouring down, it's very hectic. So check out at the Instalight company. These guys have power backup systems that can suit your need. Very interesting offers for you up there. Check out. You can also talk to them at 0722 818 883 0722 818 883. And of course, make it clear that it would come from Kevin. I was in town, just a simple one. I was in town the other day and yesterday, and someone bumped of me. I don't like saying bumped. That is so. I met someone. I was just stepping out from a supermarket. Then was like, "Oh, you jamaa Instalight, how about it?" And I was okay, fine. Maybe I'll be their brand ambassador coming in the future. But then connect to those guys and get something. What do you think Uhuru and Raila have got wrong to stop Ruto? I think what Uhuru and Raila realized is they needed to have the 6.5 million Raila support base. You needed that. And that has been managed by the presence of Kalonzo Musyoka and the birth of DAPK in Western Kenya to checkmate on Musalia and Wetangula. And you need to give, I think we need to give Raila credit for this, because from where he was seated some 2 years ago, he knew very well that Musalia Mudavadi and Wetangula were most likely walking away from him. And maybe the president, because the president has access to what is happening within the county borders, the president might have told him that, look here, Mudavadi and Wetangula seems to be talking to Ruto. So we need to find a way. And remember, there were the attempted coup at Fort Kenya. There was another one at ANC. Then Fort Kenya was split. It was split into 2. It remained the Fort Kenya, then DAPK, because DAPK was plucked from Fort Kenya. That was done strategic to make sure that the Western status quo, there is status quo in Western. So with the presence of ODM and the DAPK, because ODM traditionally will capture Busia, sections of Vihiga and Kakamega, the vote basket in those areas won't change a lot. In fact, if it changes, it will be to benefit of Raila because there is a protest vote against Musalia Mudavadi. Then DAPK will try to find out what they can chunk they can bring from Bungoma and Trans Nzoia. With the presence of Kalonzo Musyoka, the 6.5 million are still there. And someone will tell me, how about what was in the server? That is 6.5 is what we were served with, is the sieved data. So maybe the raw data is giving other figures, and both Uhuru and Raila have realized that that is there. But then, with the absence of Mwai Kibaki, and I'm not saying it's a political tool, the passing on of Mwai Kibaki has come at a very critical time when Kenyans are introspecting. Kenyans are comparing between Uhuru Kibaki and all that. And I can surely tell you that there is going to be a bit of a consciousness in central Kenya on Raila Odinga's Kibaki Tosha moment. So the Kibaki Tosha moment is very critical because what Uhuru is currently struggling, and Uhuru is called a chess master, and he will be the best chess master on the number of votes that he will inject in Raila's basket from central Kenya. So I see Raila Kibaki Tosha moment now getting the reason, now getting a voice of reason. The consciousness is there, and that is why you will see. Just look at all the process and the burial, and after that, the central Kenya voters might be told that look here, there was a Kibaki Tosha moment, and 20 years down the line, the man that said Kibaki Tosha also wants to lead. And I believe that that will be another issue. Number 3 is very critical, and I know many people have not given it attention. The reintroduction of Ezra Chiloba in the electoral system. This is very critical, and I think I'll have to delve here a bit. If you remember in 2017, you look at how the relationship between Chiloba and Chebukati, you would actually draw the lines. You could easily see a Chebukati that is under Chiloba. And Chiloba is a technocrat, is an IT person. Chebukati is a lawyer and more of a paperwork man. So, what happened, I want to believe there is a critical role that Chiloba played in 2017. In a light note, someone was telling me, so when Musando was killed, part of his fingers were chopped. This is a light note. And someone accessed the servers by those fingers. And I was just reasoning, look here. Yani, how did someone get the audacity kukata kwenda na fingers za mtu, and I don't know. And again, they were blood stained. Personally, I don't buy that issue. I feel it's a bit scary. But that is politics. So, if there is someone who accessed the server in 2017, the only person that had the sole password is Chiloba. Tell me, do you think the server that was used in 2017 is different than the one that is going to be used in 2022? I beg to be challenged, but it might be the same. And you may not be shocked at some point that Chiloba still remains the sole person with that password, because with the access to the server. Because look at it, after he was fired from the IBC by Chebukati, Uhuru Kenyatta reintroduced him, and he was put in a very critical position in Communications Authority, which is not far from, which cannot deter him from still being in charge of that server, if there is some dirty business that was done there. So ladies and gentlemen, I can assuredly tell you that the reintroduction of Chiloba into the electoral system cannot be underestimated. Look at it. Then he's also going to play a very critical part in in result transmission. And if there could be something that he did, I don't want to say there was. If there is something that he manipulated in favor of Uhuru, and then he's told 2022 manipulate in favor of candidate X, do you think he doesn't have the capacity? So for me, it's an issue. And if you want to know, this is not a light thing, is when he introduced the re-registration of lines, Ruto was protesting and was telling Chiloba that, wait, bro, why don't you do it in November? What is the hurry in it? So even Ruto was very skeptical on it. Another thing that I feel is also a key scheme to block Ruto is President Uhuru Kenyatta's determination to neutralize the emotive hustler wave in Central. If you ask me, the hustler wave was coined for West Central. It was not coined for Rift Valley or any other region. It was coined there because the archetype of the hustler nation is money and business and bit of that empowerment. So what Ruto did was to take these things to Central. And if you want to know, it was targeting Central Kenya. Ruto is born in Rift Valley. And in Rift Valley there is Turkana, which is one of the poorest, is very rich in terms of resources, but household economy is the poorest in the whole country. Did you ever see him going to do an empowerment program, even in Lodwar? Even in Baringo, where there is all these fights going on, and there is efforts to diversify economy in those areas where they're saying it's not all about the pastoralism life. Did you see even him donating the wheelbarrows and all that in Eldoret? No, because the hustler nation was targeting Central Kenya. And that's why Uhuru have made deliberate efforts, even involving civil servants like Kibichu, to make sure that it is neutralized. Lastly, I think the Nairobi team is key to deliver the Nairobi vote to Raila. What I have realized, and I'm not talking about, I may not focus on Igade, but I want to look at Robert Alai and Jalango. If you look at 2017, there was a candidate in Nairobi known as Mike Mbuvi Sonko. Mike Mbuvi Sonko took a lot of people to the ballot because he was that popular and he had the euphoria. Now, when you take the celebrities, like, in Jalango has won the seat to vie for the Langata seat. Jalango is not just a Langata person, because this is a guy who has been in media for all along, and there are people who support him within Nairobi. If you have a support of Jalango, you have Robert Alai, which this is a team that already has the middle class in them. You have Babu Win on the other side pushing Slam. I am telling you that the turnout in Nairobi will be boosted by the presence of these celebrity politicians in Nairobi. If you look at UDA side, they made a blunder to do away with Jaguar, because Jaguar was the only person that was bringing euphoria. In Nairobi, they don't have a candidate that can give them euphoria. And that is why I also feel like Igade, when Igade is backed and they pick a very good running mate for him, they make sure he builds the euphoria, he'll be in a position to win. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my analysis, and you can also tell us what are your thoughts on what is going on in Nairobi. Asante sana.